Hello and welcome. I'm JMac, the SEO, and in today's video, we will be covering the first 4 steps in my 9-step process on how to get a website ranking locally to generate leads. If you'd like to grab the 9 steps, click the link in the description and I'd send this template to you, just covering the 9 steps. If you'd like to follow along in this video, this resource also includes a whole bunch of other free stuff that would help you get your websites ranking and increase their traffic. Cool. Step 1 would be to choose your niche. This is a step we could debate for hours on how and why, and we could do countless amounts of research and compare niches. But for the sake of this exercise and program, if you're following along, I would like to keep it as simple as possible for the beginner. So my advice to you would be to choose a passion of yours. For example, gardening. Gardening is a very competitive niche, and there are lots of other factors to comprehend within the niche when it comes to SEO that we can get into in later videos as you get more advanced. However, there's power in niching down. That's why it's called a niche. We need to decide on a niche. Instead of opening up an online store that sells absolutely everything in gardening, which would be virtually destined to fail unless you have some really good site authority and local authority already, I would recommend niching down even further than gardening to one species of plant. For example, Venus flytraps or bonsai trees, or even further down, a particular type of bonsai tree. But you might say, Jay, there's no money in that. In the research I've done, there's a lady in America who is simply selling just succulents. You know those little plants that hipsters buy and collect that barely need any water or attention? She's just selling succulents and soil, and she is making over $50,000 a month. Now, if you're already a business owner and you're watching this and you are going, but Jay, I have a website, I have a niche already, that's fine, 100%, stay tuned. This step is just for the beginner who's looking at deciding on a niche to go into. My advice would be keep it simple, keep it basic, keep it in a passion of yours, so when you don't want to work on it, that passion may drive you forward, but niche down further into that passion. Step 2 would be researching. Now, there are countless tools for research. We have Ahrefs, SEMrush, and Ubersuggest. We could also spend days on this, talking about the different pros and cons, traffic manipulation, all these fancy terms you'll learn further on in your SEO career. However, today I will be showing you the free way that I used in order to find high quality keywords to rank for that generate sweet leads. Cool, so let's jump into my computer and let's check it out. All right, so when doing this, we want to open up an incognito tab. That just ensures that there's no bias with Google on previous searches within our logins of Google that'll put other results at the top. I'm sure you guys know what incognito is. All right, so Plumbers Pretoria. So what I always suggest to my clients and people that come to me asking for SEO is you have to re-engineer the process of how you would find a client online. So how do we do that? Cool. I need a plumber and I'm in Pretoria. PretoriaPlumbers.com. We'll get to that. Okay, I need a plumber and I'm in Pretoria. So I would type in plumber in Pretoria and do a search term for that. So right away, we'll see some ads pop up, which means that this is a highly competitive keyword, which will also be better when we rank the site, as it will have more value if we want to sell the leads or sell onto it. Here we'll have our Google listings, but this is not what I'm interested in. We want to scroll right down to the bottom of the page. And over here, we will see a list of words, keywords, that people are searching in this particular niche. So we have plumbers Centurion, plumbing services, best plumbers Pretoria, plumbing jobs, plumbing supplies, plumbers near me. You'll also notice that some of these keywords are bolded. That is because Google assigns more value to them. What I want you guys to do is copy these keywords and save them to a Microsoft Word doc. These are the words we will be giving our content creator and asking them to apply them into the content. So we would do this for a few searches within the niche. Plumber in Pretoria, off the top of my head, emergency plumber. Scroll to the bottom and take this, plumber Roodepoort. Be mindful that we don't want to be ranking for things that aren't within our area. Mix and match the keywords as well. Plumber, Pretoria plumber. Let's try that. Pretoria plumber. Same things are coming up. But here we go. Here's some more. Best plumbers Pretoria. I think that's a brand. Loodgieter Pretoria Noord. Okay. We can also add that to our keyword list. I know this seems very basic, guys, but we could spend days in keyword research and stuff, and this is what works. This is what will get us in those GMB rankings ASAP. Awesome. Another way we can get some cool keywords for free is by jumping into Google again and manipulating the autofill to help us. Typing in your main keyword, what you want to rank for leads for. So ours would be Pretoria plumber. And then you want to go through your whole alphabet on your keyboard and see what pops up and take note of that and add that to a list. Plumber Queenswood Pretoria. So that would be Q. W. Plumber Pretoria West. Plumber Pretoria East. Plumber Pretoria Reviews. You get the picture. Now, we don't have a lot of time today, but when you do that with each search, you want to click on the search. I'll give you an example. So let's say Plumber Pretoria Q. We typed in Q and that's what popped up. Plumber Queenswood Pretoria. We want to go into that search query and see what is ranking for it. And start also designing a list of competitors from that. So, for instance, Efficient Plumbers is ranking for Queenwood Plumbers. They're ranking number 1 in the normal SERPs. And you will also want to take note of the Google My Business reviews over here. So this would not be a very competitive term. Why? Because, okay, there's 2 ads on it, but the Google My Business is nowhere. The guy ranking number 1 for Plumber Queenswood Pretoria has 1 review and that's it. There's no, let's actually go into it and look. There's 1 review. This GMB hasn't been optimized. Refer to the checklist. I'll teach you guys how to optimize a GMB 100%. And yeah, we could easily outrank something like this. Easily, with a bit of content around it. All right, so that's keyword research. I think you guys get the idea. It would be using those techniques I showed you, getting a keyword list, and then building that into your content that we give to your content writers. All right, let's head over to step 3. Again, this step applies to people that don't have a website set up already. For this experiment, I had to set up a website because I'm not a plumber. So I'll go over a few things that will get you favorable in Google's eyes, let's call it. So I used to recommend going on to GoDaddy and getting domains and URLs until I realized that SSL certificates aren't free with them. And to be honest with you, they really just try to rip people off when it comes to upselling different items such as SSL. So a website I highly recommend would be SiteGrounds. Or Bluehost. Bluehost is also good. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that the SSL certificate is included in the purchase of the domain. Once you're on SiteGrounds, we would want to go to web hosting. We just need the startup plan. Nothing spectacular or fancy yet. After all, we are just wanting to rank the site to generate those sweet leads. So for $6 a month, we would get one website, enough space, more than enough visits for a local site, and the free SSL. That is what we're after. We'd want to click there, get plan. If you don't have a domain already, register the new domain and proceed with that. All right, so now that we know where to get a domain from and hosting from, I'm going to discuss what aspects we want to put into our domain name. All right, so there's often a debate amongst SEOs if a .com and a .co.za is better in South Africa. Obviously a .com is king. It's more American bound though, and it's better for affiliate sites, etc., etc. However, our leads are coming from South Africa, so I would recommend .co.za. I did not do this with pretoriaplumbers.com to add a bit more of a challenge to myself in ranking the site. I have no other reason for that as well. So I would recommend for you guys, going back to my template, you want to take the area and add your service to it as well, if that makes sense. So for instance, I'm ranking a site for plumbers in Pretoria, so I went pretoriaplumbers.com. Better would be .co.za for local rankings in Google, but that's still quite a controversial topic. So for example, if you are a landscaper in South Africa that services Randburg, first prize would be landscapersrandburg.co.za. Even if you are not able to get that full URL registered, it's all right to use abbreviations. For example, if I was ranking a website for web development in Johannesburg.co.za, it would be all right to go joburgwd.co.za, as long as Google is able to associate certain characters with it in its algorithm. Once you've done that, go ahead and purchase the domain, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So here we are on pretoriaplumbers.com. Before we get into any crazy keyword content stuff and build that keyword list of yours, I want you guys to list at least 6 aspects of the business you want to rank, whether it be services, a product, a related feature, something you want to rank for. So in this example of pretoriaplumbers.com, I took new house installations, bathrooms, maintenance and repairs, leak detection, block drains, and emergency plumbing services. Those were things that I saw value in and thought that I would call or need a plumber for if I was to contact a plumber in Pretoria. Once we have those 6 services, we want to jump back into Google, and I'm going to show you some more keyword techniques. Very similar to step 2 of researching. You want to start building those keywords with the words at the bottom. You want to open up an incognito tab for no bias from previous searches. Girls, if you don't know what an incognito tab is or how to open one, just ask your boyfriend. All right, so I think I said burst pipes or emergency plumbing. So emergency plumbing that I've associated as an important service. As you can see, I'm popping up already because I've been working on the site. Emergency plumbing, Pretoria. Enter. Let's see here. Okay, cool. So we put emergency plumbing in. You kind of want to get a gauge of who your competitors are, as I've been saying, but we're after those sweet keywords. So at the bottom here, drain surgeon rates, Pretoria, emergency plumber. So we would take emergency plumber there. Burst pipe, Pretoria. Again, you guys need to cycle through as many keywords as you think would rank relating to your service and be creative. The idea is I'm already taking burst pipe as it's a service and putting it in my keyword list, right? But when you're cycling down to the bottom, you won't always find keywords that are important. For example, water interruption, Pretoria today. It's not important for us, so we leave it out. All right, so at this stage, your keyword list should be quite extensive. Now I'd want you guys to sift through it even more and see where it is you're wanting to target, what it is you're wanting to target more specifically, and if it's worth your time to target those areas. For the purpose of this exercise, I have decided to target most of Pretoria until further notice, and I'm going to see what happens. You need to start taking those keywords and assigning them under certain aspects of each of your services. So for instance, I have new home installation service here. I want to assign some keywords from the techniques I showed you under each of them. So your Word doc would look like new home installation service with certain keywords underneath it you'd look to be ranking for. Now, I'm not talking about keyword stuffing. I don't want you guys having crazy amounts of keywords and trying to rank for. I would go as far as to say at most 2 or 3 under each. You should have a list now of about 20 to 30 and be diligent about it. Rather have fewer under each section than not. It's just for Google to pick up, but keep your main keywords in place. For example, here, as I said, I'm targeting Pretoria. We will see Pretoria plumbing, my main keyword, in most of my content here. All right, so once you have that list, we want to jump into Fiverr. Again, this is very basic. It's for quick content to get you guys ranking fast. So for this example, I typed in plumbing copy. And as you can see here, a whole bunch of stuff pops up. So from here, you want to start communicating with writers, talking to them and chatting to them about what you need. So what you want to send your content writer are the 6 services you need content written on. You want a home page, and you want an about page. So just to be clear, home page, services, your 6 services, here they are, written, and an about page. That's it. And obviously with Fiverr, be very careful. You're welcome to write the content yourself. However, if this is your first site you're ranking, I would maybe recommend Fiverr more so you can focus more on the builds we've got coming. And a lot of these Fiverr guys, some of them are actually quite good. For this example, to be very honest, I did use someone from Fiverr just because it was quick and effective. And you can sometimes get a lot for your money. So a few tips when talking to content writers: be specific on what you want. When you get your content back, this is very important. Before you approve that deal, copy some of the content they have and chuck it into Google and see if it pops up. Sometimes these guys will push their luck and copy stuff off another website and just give it to you. We do not want that. Google will penalize you for duplicate content. If you guys are not wanting to use Fiverr and you are not wanting to use yourself to write the content, or your little nephew, some quality websites to get some proper content done would be Upwork and Writers Access. I think Writers Access has a monthly subscription, and then you have to pay on top of that to writers, but they are generally good. If you're looking for some more specialized copy, Upwork is perfect, but these services are more expensive. For the purpose of this exercise, because I'm not ranking a business of my own yet, plumbers, if you're there, please hit me up. I have a website for sale, hopefully ranking for some cool words, or I'm willing to sell leads as well. I used Fiverr for the purpose of this exercise, as it was the cheapest, and I know exactly how to speak to content writers and get what I need and what I'm looking for when doing SEO content. So guys, that's it for today. Get your minds made up on your niche, get your research done, choose your domain, purchase your domain and hosting, and get those content writers or yourself producing that sweet content so we can start selling or working on these sweet leads. I'm JMac the SEO, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.